So, as I'm facing more and more normal human interaction, I understand the necessity of studying mental health and its issues from a dialectical standpoint. And I've already talked at length about the connection between one's mental health and capitalism, and it is going to be apparent to most people that the outside circumstances, the economic circumstances, are going to influence one's perception of the world, one's perception of self, etc. But I don't think it is spoken about enough, and I don't think that a lot of people realize just how much their social character, as Fromm called it, or the collective unconscious, as Jung called it, how much it is shaped by the outside conditions. And that is not to say that our fate is dictated by the will of the collective, but it is very important to remember that most of our decisions that we make on the daily are not our own. They're in one way or another influenced by whatever it is we observe. And more often than not, we are not even aware of what it is that our bodies and minds are subjected to. So, for example, Freud used dreams and the analysis of dreams to kind of decipher the signals that the unconscious mind was sending to the consciousness. And this is still helpful to an extent. I personally don't find much information in my dreams, but some people, especially those who are very prone to repression, they may find it very helpful to examine their own dreams, because sometimes certain elements in your dreams are going to point out to the data that you're not perceiving in the daytime. And it is important not to put any kind of supernatural connection to the dreaming. Your dreams are not telling you anything that is not observable in the real world. But there are certain signals that your conscious mind may not be aware of. So it is oftentimes helpful to look at the dreams and to connect what the unconscious mind is aware of with what the conscious mind is aware of. And then in this combination may lie the truth. That's just one aspect of how we may not be even aware of what's influencing our decisions. But I'm reading now Michael Parenti's book, which title I don't remember as usual, so I'll put it right here. And this book talks about the way media shapes our perception of life. And I just love this book. I love the way it starts because it tells you very simply and in a straightforward manner how capitalism works and how it influences all the industries and how it kind of makes all the industries serve its goals, which are profit. But Parenti, in his usual eloquent and simple manner, really delivers the message quite well. So I highly recommend this book, and it is actually a rival to this infamous manufacturing consent book by the person who I actually really despise because he is a liar. And Parenti actually wrote about him as well. So, apart from the fact that capitalist ideology is based on the material needs, it is also essential to remember that it isn't some kind of evil brainwashing where the evil capitalists sit around the table and think together and devise evil plans on how to make us all stupid and sheeple. No, that doesn't happen this way. In cartoons, it does happen this way, but we need to realize that there are actual rules to the game of a free market, and there are rules to competition. So if you want to participate in the capitalist chase, which all of us have to an extent, then you're going to be pushed to follow these rules. So it is an entity in itself. So it dictates the way we think about the world. It dictates the way we perceive the world, the way we decide certain important things for ourselves. And then these decisions are going to kind of go back and fuel the system itself. So it is a dialectical relationship between ideology and base, which Marx describes, I think, pretty well. So the ideology is dictated by the base, by the economic circumstances, but then the ideology begins to dictate the same kind of circumstances. So it is a cycle, and Lenin called it a spiral. And then Mao also repeated that notion. And I think it's very helpful to understand that history does have a certain pattern that can be studied, but this pattern is not supernatural. This pattern can be understood with materialist analysis. So I highly recommend you examine all of these aspects that I've just shared with you and let me know what you think of them, and let's keep this conversation going.